It's way worse than we thought. The injuries continue to pile on as we thought what was a minor setback becomes a major setback. Chris Brazzell now out for the season with a torn LCL. What's going on, guys? It is Carolina Panthers Digest Media. I hope you are doing as well as you can. Guys, it's Thursday. We're getting closer to the weekend, but we are also getting another step closer to another injury. Guys, it just continues to happen and happen and happen. And this one really just being more of a horrendous update from an injury that we discussed yesterday. Yesterday, we talked about rookie Chris Brazzell going down with a torn LCL. Thought it was just going to be 8 weeks. Maybe he comes back at week 4 of the season. Maybe he comes back week 6 after the bye. It's unfortunate, but not the worst news in the world. Comes back for the rest of the season. Well, he goes in for a second opinion last night or today at some point. And we're thinking maybe, hey, a second opinion, this could maybe be, he can come back sooner. Maybe this isn't as bad as we thought. Maybe, the first opinion he got was even worse, or was worse than what he was going to be told in his second one. Well, come to find out, the second opinion is even worse. Chris Brazzell is now out for the season. He is now the second player on the Panthers roster who is expected to be a very solid contributor that is out for the season, along with Nick Scorton. And even before that, we had Ike Mekwonu very likely out for the season as well, getting injured in the playoffs. So the injuries just continue to add on for this football team. And you feel for these guys. You really feel for the players, especially the two young guys, Scorton and Brazzell, who were just starting off camp. The first day of camp, Scorton goes down as a torn ACL. Brazzell, a week into camp, he's a rookie, a third-round rookie. The reps are crucial. They're so important. He's really competing for that wide receiver 3 position with Xavier Legette, and now he goes down. He's out for the season after being told he was only going to miss maybe 2 months. I'm not sure what went into the decision. There might be some more information out there. I guess during this second opinion, they didn't want to rush things. They felt, hey, for the duration of your career, we don't want to bring you back. We don't want to rush it. Let's just, we're going to have to call it this season, and we're going to give you the full off season in this season to rehab and come back better for next season. And it's unfortunate. While this is probably what's best for the player, we always, no matter how frustrating it is, sometimes as a fan, we have to understand what is the best thing for a player. But we have to do what the doctors say. So, sorry for the diatribe to begin. It's just been really frustrating. As usual, guys, please make sure you like and subscribe. We're so close to 200 subscribers. It's unfortunate that we have to keep making injury videos, but it is my job to keep you guys up to date. So please make sure you like and subscribe. Really would appreciate that. Let's get into the article so we can get the official news here. This article by Steve Reed over at the AP. Carolina Panthers wide receiver rookie Chris Brazzell's season is over before it even had a chance to begin. The Panthers announced Thursday that the third-round pick from Tennessee will undergo season-ending surgery on the lateral collateral ligament, LCL, on his left knee and be placed on injured reserve. Brazzell was carted off the field Wednesday after he was injured during a 7-on-7 drill and was expected to miss up to 8 weeks following the original diagnosis. However, after receiving a second medical opinion, Brazzell has decided to undergo season-ending surgery. He had been impressive in early training camp and looked poised to battle with 2024 first-round pick Xavier Legette for the team's number 3 wide receiver spot behind starters Tetairoa McMillan and Jalen Coker. And then it goes on to talk a little bit about his season at Tennessee last year. So, guys, very unfortunate news to say the least. You really got to feel for this guy. A rookie coming into a system where, like I said, he really had a chance to fight for that number 3 receiver spot. So he's battling with Xavier Legette. Both really seem to be having good camps so far. So it's a good, friendly competition, and it's only going to make guys better. And, we were looking to maybe have 4 really solid receivers going into the season, and now we're down to potentially 2 or 3. So what I talked about on yesterday's video is how this affects Xavier Legette. This really gives him the one last opportunity to prove he is the guy to do things. But today I want to take a look at it from another perspective. Let's say, Legette he has a bad training camp. I'm not even going to say the other words. Let's say he has a bad camp. Things aren't going his way. They're just like, man, I just don't know if it's going to work with this guy. Where else can they go? Is there people they can look for? I don't think they should make a trade, or if they do, would have to be a 6th or 7th round pick, something very minimal that I would be happy with giving up on. Let's take a look at some available free agents that the Panthers could potentially look at. This is something we've done before, but I just want to get your thoughts on this and see what Carolina could potentially be looking at. As you can see here, you got a guy like Tyreek Hill. I highly doubt he's going to be coming to Carolina. I just don't see that as a fit. Stephon Diggs, another guy I really doubt would come to the Panthers. Both of those guys, older, probably looking to compete for Super Bowl contending teams. I don't think the Panthers are quite there yet. Maybe, I could be wrong, and also a few off-the-field issues. I touched on a guy like Curtis Samuel in a video a few weeks ago. I think he's a nice veteran, obviously, that's played in Carolina before. He was drafted here, something you can look at. Maybe also a guy like a Noah Brown or a Josh Reynolds, two other solid veterans to really come in and be that number 3 or 4 spot. You've got guys like Keenan Allen and Zay Jones and Hunter Renfrow. Renfrow was here last season for a little bit. Those guys obviously a bit older. Obviously, before this list came out, when I looked at it earlier, it had Deebo Samuel on it, but he actually just recently re-signed with the 49ers as they battled injuries last season too. We have become the new 49ers from last season, and for all the wrong reasons. So there's a list of some guys here that you could potentially bring in. You look at a guy like Brandon Cooks, that would be phenomenal, but those guys are a little bit older. I think we're going to have to wait a little bit longer when camp gets underway. Some of these veteran guys probably not going to want to come in and do a ton of camp. And the Panthers, don't forget, they've got that extra preseason game this year since they're playing in the Hall of Fame game. So, it's got to be extremely the wind taken out of the sails of the players. And you got to hope the coaching staff in there are rallying around them. Guys are probably a bit frustrated and maybe a bit scared. They don't want to be injured as well, and they feel bad seeing their brothers, their teammates go down with injuries. So this is just a really unfortunate situation. Chris Brazzell going to be out for the season, but my little bit of optimism that I try to keep in every single video, the season must continue. We haven't even started yet. I'm sure there will be more injuries, unfortunately, but let's just hope that this shows that other guys can step up. Other guys can rally. We're talking John Mechie. We're talking Jimmy Horn Jr. We're talking about guys on the O-line, the D-line, anywhere that you've seen injuries so far this season. This is your opportunity to step up and be a member of this football team and to be productive. So, as always, guys, thank you guys so much for tuning in and keep pounding. We'll see you on the next one, and hopefully it's some better news than an injury. We'll talk to you soon.